All right, this is SAT prep for the ACT no calculator section. So this is problem 18. We have 2.1 times h plus 3 in parentheses equals 3h plus 2.1. Okay, so which value of h is the solution to the given equation? And this one is a fill in the blank. So remember, once you get towards the end of some of these sections, a lot of these problems become fill in the blanks instead of choose your own answer, which actually it makes no difference because you should be figuring out the problem by yourself and then picking the answer from the set anyway. It's not as much like reading or like English where you just jump to the answers and try to pick whichever one fits best, right? Or science is like whichever one picks best with the data set, right? So math, you're supposed to be solving this equation anyway, so we're just gonna do what we normally do, treat it no differently, write our equation down, and then solve for our variable, which this time is h. A trick you could do, if you think that h is kind of hard to work with and it's unfamiliar to you, when you copy it down, just copy it down as x's instead of h's. Just like a substitution, and then solve for x, and that'll be the same answer. Just write down that answer, h equals that instead of x equals. So that's one way you could do it if you're unfamiliar with h's. They stress you out, whatever it is, right? So remember, first step for this, we have distributive, even though it's a decimal. This is still a number, it's still a constant. We can still do our distributive property. And on the right side, we're just gonna chill for a little bit because we have nothing over there to simplify, remember PEMDAS. So 2.1 times h is just 2.1h, nothing crazy there. 2.1 times 3, that we can do a trick for, and I'm going to show you. So 2 times 3 equals 6, and 1 times 3 equals 3. So the answer is 6.3. That only works as long as this number here multiplied by this number doesn't go above and into the ones column here, because this is 1/10, right? So like 10 1/10 is equal to one of these, so this is like a 4. 4 times 3 is like 12, which is like 1.2, so you have to be careful with that, but you can do this trick as long as you get some single digit values. If you're unfamiliar with that, I'm going to do this on the side for you too to show you how to do it really quick. We have 2.1 times 3. Remember, this is just route multiplication. The decimal place is okay because you just move it down at the bottom here. Treat it like it's 21 times 3. So we have 1 times 3, which is 3, 2 times 3, which is 6. Same answer. Takes 2 seconds. Don't let decimals freak you out. Just treat them like they're a 2-digit number and just take care of where you place the decimal place, right? This just gets dropped down here. So plus 6.3 equals 3h plus 2.1, because that side didn't change, right? So then we have 2.1h plus 6.3 equals 3h plus 2.1. Just like normal math, like without decimals, we're going to combine like terms. So we can subtract 2.1, which makes this a 0 pair. So we have 2.1h plus 4.3 minus 2.1 equals 4.2. If you can't do that in your head by subtracting, oh, the nice thing about the way this is laid out, you don't even have to do it in your head. This is just like our normal subtraction problem, right? Like if we were to do this on the side, we'd have 6.3 minus 2.1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Carry a decimal place. 6 minus 2 is 4. So, but you wouldn't even have to write this on the side over here because this is just laid out already for us. So see, this top part is just exactly like that, right? So this is like our equals sign down here. So then we can just carry that down. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. Carry our decimal place down 2. And then we have our 4.2. So that equals our 3h because 2.1 plus or minus 2.1 is going to be 0 because that's our 0 pair. Then added together, a positive or negative of the same magnitude is going to always be 0. 0 pairs cancel to 0 plus 0. So then we have 2.1h plus 4.2 equals 3h. Now we subtract 2.1h, just like if this is a normal number, that's not a decimal, minus 2.1h. So we have 4.2, because this is our 0 pair on this side, equals, and this is a trickier one. So let's just do this one right on the side. We have 3 minus 2.1, right? So 3 minus 2.1 is the same as 3.0 minus 2.1, okay? So that's because 3 equals 3.0, right? Because 0 or 0.0 just means we have 0/10, which is what we have when we have a whole number, right? We have 0/10. So then treat that like it's 30 minus 21. We need something here because 0 minus 1, we can't do that because 0 is less than 1. So we're going to take some from over here, make this a 2, carry the 1, then do 10 minus 1 is 9, carry our decimal, 2 minus 2 is 0. So we get 0.9. Remember, it's 0.9 h. So this is the same thing as doing like 3h minus 2h, same principle, our h stays, and then we get whatever's left over. So if it's 3 minus 2h, it'd be 1h, or just h. 3 minus 2.1h is going to be 0.9h, okay? So then, what value of h is the solution to the given equation? We almost had our answer, so we have 0.9, or 4.2 divided by 0.9 to get h alone. So h is just going to be on this side because these cancel to 1. And we have 4.2 divided by 0.9. In order to do that, what we have to do is do 42 divided by 9. That's a shortcut, right? But we know that that's going to give us maybe a decimal. So we'll do it on the side here. 4.2. We have our divide by sign because we're doing a bigger number. 0.9. And you could do the same thing with 42 divided by 9, but we know 9 goes into 42 how many times? It goes in, you guys know this, it goes in 6 times. No, excuse me, 4 times. 4 times. So then 0.9 times 4 is like 9 times 4, carry the decimal place, so it's going to be 3.6. When we subtract, we get 4 minus, we have to carry it over. We have 4, we have 2 minus 6, which we can't do, so we're going to take 1 from here to get us 3. Carry our 1, 12 minus 6 is 6. Carry our decimal place, 3 minus 3 is 0. So 0.6 left over, and 0.6. How many times does that go into 0.9? It goes in 2/3 of a time, so we can write our mixed fraction here. And we know, oh, this could also just be our remainder, right? So we could just keep doing that over and over again. We know this is going to be 4 point something, because that's the first number, because 0.9 goes in 4 times. Making sure we keep our decimal straight. And then the leftover portion is 0.6 over 0.9, which is the same thing if we reduce our fractions here. This is like a 2 to 3 ratio, so it's going to be 4 2/3, right? So we have h equals 4 2/3. And again, we got that 2/3 because 0.9 goes into 4.2 4 times. And if that's hard for you to think about how many times 9 goes into 42, right? Same principle. And then our remainder is like 0.6 or 6 if you're thinking about it this way. And then remember, at the end of doing long division, we can take the remainder and put it over what we're dividing by, our divisor. And 0.6 over 0.9 is the same as like 6 over 9, because the ratios are the same, which equals 2/3. So that's what we got, 4 2/3, because 2/3 is the remainder. So 4 2/3 equals h. So our solution is 4 2/3. If you wanted to leave that like that, you can. Otherwise, you can make it an actual fraction instead of a mixed number, which would be 4 times 3 plus our 2, which is going to be 12 plus 2 is 14/3. Both of them are fine answers. Do whichever one gets you there faster. So because it's the ACT or SAT and speed matters for this one, I just stick with this instead of converting it. But you can. So our answer is 4 2/3.